Is this the year that NC State finally breaks through and makes the ACC championship game? If not now, when? Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, ready to break down NC State's schedule and record for this upcoming season. A season that is filled with lots of anticipation, lots of excitement for Wolfpack fans. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of our 2 exclusive newsletters. You can sign up for those for free over there. Well, one of them is exclusive. The other one you get with our expert picks. That's the main thing we have over on our website. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country. You do not want to miss out on that, guys. We're hitting over 63% of our bets overall in our career. We've beat out over 80% of the national analysts each of the last 6 years, and we're going to do it again this year. So go sign up. One of the best deals in the country. If you sign up, you get exclusive access to our betting newsletter, but our other newsletter is for free over there on our website. Go check it out. Again, the link down in the description below, as well as everything else that you need to help you get through this offseason. So let's take a look at the Wolfpack, guys. I'm excited about them. I'm excited about this team, and I'm a huge fan of NC State, truly. I love what they're doing there. I love what Dave Doeren continues to do with this program. NC State has won at least 8 games each of the last 4 years. They have won at least 8 games in 7 of the 11 years under Dave Doeren. They are 23-4 over the last 4 years at home, 52-23 overall at home under Dave Doeren. He has made this into a pretty difficult place to play in the ACC and has made the Wolfpack a perennial contender in the conference, but never enough to get over the hump and make the ACC championship. Never really enough to get over the hump and beat the big dogs consistently to get them to the promised land. Maybe this is the year. And maybe it's the year because they're bringing in one of the best transfer quarterbacks on the market in Grayson McCall, the star quarterback from Coastal Carolina that threw for over 10,000 yards and had 88 touchdowns with the Chanticleers, comes in to QB this Wolfpack squad. Going to be the leader of this team. Then they added Jordan Waters, the star running back from Duke, who rushed for over 1,600 yards during his career with the Blue Devils. He returns, or comes in, I should say. Then you've got KC Concepcion, who had over 800 reception yards and 10 touchdowns last year in a carousel of quarterbacks for the Wolfpack. He can do it as a pass catcher. He can do it as a runner. He is truly the ultimate weapon, the X factor maybe offensively for NC State. You've got a very solid offensive line coming back from the Wolfpack. And this is a team that, again, struggled with injuries last year offensively, was very inconsistent offensively last year, only averaged 26.2 points per game. I see them averaging over 30 points per game this year, and really an offense that I believe can hang with anyone in the ACC. Defensively, it's always strong under Dave Doeren, but they're missing their anchor. They're missing their leader defensively. If only Peyton Wilson was on this team this year. That's a huge, huge loss. Guy who had 138 tackles last year. Huge loss for NC State. They also lose their other top tacklers. There's Peyton Wilson and Jalen Scott, their top 2 tacklers from last year. But they have plenty of returning talent, especially in the secondary, which is going to be the strength of this team, I think, defensively. You've got Devon Boykin coming back. You've got Aiden White coming back. They added 3 transfers back there, including Jihad Carter, a 3-year starter in the secondary at Syracuse. This is a team that's allowed under 21 points per game each of the last 3 years. I imagine it's going to be around the same mark again this year. NC State's got the talent, maybe one of, if not the best team under Dave Doeren. Can they take advantage of it, get to the ACC championship, and maybe even flirt with a spot in the 12-team playoff? Take a look at their schedule. I think they open up with a win against Western Carolina, but I'm not going to say their season is necessarily defined in the first 3 weeks of September, but it's going to really set the tone for the rest of the year. Their game against Tennessee in Week 2 in Charlotte and then the road game at Clemson are massive, massive games. And, you know, if you look at those 2 games, if you're NC State, you would much rather lose to Tennessee than Clemson, right? I mean, you don't want to lose either. But always better to lose in the non-conference than to lose a conference game. That's a big storyline here. How does NC State fare in those 2 games, and what does it mean for the rest of the season if they win both, if they lose both, or if they split? You start with the Tennessee game in Charlotte. This is a game that I really could see being a shootout. I love NC State's offense, and obviously you know a Josh Heupel-led team in the Volunteers with Nico Iamaleava coming back. This is a team that can really score with anyone as well. So this is a game that I really could see going back and forth. And it's funny because Tennessee defensively is really, really good up front on the front 7. But their back 7 is really concerning. Their secondary is really, really concerning. Defensive line really good. Linebackers mediocre. Secondary concern. It's the opposite for NC State. They've got a really good secondary, but that defensive line and linebacking core is the area of concern there. So who wins that battle? For me, I've got to go with Tennessee. I got to go with Tennessee, who I think is going to control the line of scrimmage a little bit better than NC State. Got to go with Tennessee, who I still believe will have the better offense in this game and really has had electric offense every year under Josh Heupel. The Volunteers, I think, win a shootout in Charlotte. The Wolfpack can't get over the hump against the big dogs and fall to the Volunteers. I do believe they beat Louisiana Tech, so 2-1. Then Clemson. That's the big one there, too. Clemson, look, the Tigers are coming off a bye in this game. They're going to be well-rested, and they're going to have been battle-tested. Already have played Georgia in week 1, App State the week after. So well-rested, battle-tested. NC State too, but Clemson more so. And NC State history's not on their side. The Wolfpack have not won at Clemson since 2002. They did beat the Tigers 24-17 last year, and in recent years have had some success against Clemson at home, again, where the Wolfpack are 23-4 over the last 4 years, with a handful of those wins coming over the Tigers. But also, if you look at last year's game, they won that game by 7. But 122 of the 202 yards of offense that NC State had, and 202 yards of offense for a game is not very good, 122 of those came on 2 plays, thanks to Casey Concepcion, obviously. Clemson committed a lot of mistakes, allowed too many big plays at home in Death Valley with a better Clemson team this year than I think they had last year. The Tigers get the job done, and the Wolfpack, all of that excitement they had coming into the season maybe has gone away as they're sitting at 2-2. Here's the beauty of this, though. 2-2 is not great. You would much rather be 3-1 or 4-0. But if you look at the rest of the schedule, you realize it is easy for the Wolfpack. It is easy. I mean, they're going to beat NIU. Boom, 3-2. They're going to beat Wake Forest. They're going to be 4-2. Neither of those two teams concern me, especially with both those being at home. Wake Forest, they won by 20 last year. They've met every year since 1910. It's one of the longest running series in all of college football, but they should dominate the Demon Deacons, who are still kind of in a rebuild mode in the post-Sam Hartman era. So there you go, back-to-back wins. I think they beat Syracuse at home. Syracuse is going to be much better this year, much more improved, dangerous in year 1 under Fran Brown, dare I say. This is a Syracuse team that I think could start 5-0. But when they play NC State, the Wolfpack will arguably be the best team that Orange had faced up until that point. I don't think that Syracuse is going to be prepared for that. I don't think the Orange are going to be able to do it on the road. So just like that, 2-2, now you're 5-2, 3 straight wins. The road game at California is tough. Not necessarily because California is some great team in their first year in the ACC, but because the road trip is going to be very long. It's going to take a big toll on the Wolfpack. But I still think Dave Derwin's squad gets the win. I still think they're able to take down California in this game. Their first trip to California, the state of California, since 1960 when the Wolfpack played at UCLA, I think they get a win over Jaden Ott and the Golden Bears. And Jaden Ott is the guy that the Wolfpack have to stop. The defensive line, I said, not a major concern, but still a bit of a concern for NC State. They've got to find a way to get some push to slow down the California run game. The passing game should improve, but I'm not too concerned about it, especially with this secondary. You bottle up Jaden Ott, you get the win because the Golden Bears across the board still have a lot of work to do, especially in the secondary, a game where now I could see Grayson McCall going off and Casey Concepcion also going off in this game. So just like that, they're 2-2. They've won 4 straight games. They are 6-2. They're going bowling. That's the bare minimum. That's expected. But still, in the world of college football, you should assume nothing. You should never assume anything in college football. Getting to a bowl game is big. 6-2. Coming out of the bye week, look at that. Arguably 2 of the worst teams in the ACC this year in Stanford and Duke. Stanford, this is easy money in my opinion. Off the week of rest for the Wolfpack at home. Stanford secondary is terrible. Long road trip for the Cardinal. First year in the ACC. Lots of inexperience and youth. They're going to torch Stanford easily. They're going to beat Duke rather comfortably too. And I know someone's going to go, Duke won by 21 last year. There's no way that NC State beats them. Well, Duke's a completely different team, right? First year under Manny Diaz, they are going to be horrendous up front on the line of scrimmage, both on the offensive line and the defensive line. They've got so many questions in what's going to be a bit of a minor rebuild under Manny Diaz. It's a minor rebuild because I think he's going to get them back to competing well pretty quick. But at home, NC State's going to get revenge, and they're going to win comfortably. So in between those 2 bye weeks, they get 2 relatively easy games. And if you look at that now, they've now won 6 straight games. 8-2, nationally ranked, and maybe still in the running for an ACC title berth. Maybe still in the running for a playoff berth because they only have 1 conference loss, and that is on the road to Clemson. But then you've got Georgia Tech. They close out the year with back-to-back road games. That's not good, right? No one likes to play back-to-back road games. So senior day for NC State is going to be on November 9th. So pretty early there. But Georgia Tech on a Thursday night. And I cannot stress to you enough how weird midweek games can be. I'm not saying they're the do-all, be-all, but playing on Thursday screws up your schedule. It's a very difficult thing to do when you're on the road. NC State is on the road. Yes, they're going to be well-rested, of course. But if you look at this game, Georgia Tech's offense might be the best offense that NC State has faced since Tennessee. Tennessee's going to have a better offense than Clemson. And no other team on the schedule prior to Georgia Tech has an offense nearly as dangerous, fast, or explosive as what Georgia Tech's going to provide. They've got Haynes King. They've got Jamal Haynes. They've got some of their top receivers coming back. And I think the defense, while it wasn't great last year, is going to be a little bit better. If they can stop the run, if they can slow down Jordan Waters, they're going to force Grayson McCall to win this game through the air. Can he do that? Absolutely he can. But if Brent Key's secondary can hone in on that, if they have faith in their front seven to get the job done, slow down the run, go, all right, all we got to do is stop the pass and we're going to win, I think they're in for a very, very good spot. The Yellow Jackets, guys, are a team that I think is going to be a lot better than their final record indicates. And NC State, having kind of coasted through these last 6 games, I believe the majority of these are going to be double-digit victories for the Wolfpack. I truly do. Coasting through them, the pressure's on. They slip up in Atlanta on a Thursday night. Georgia Tech, I believe, can be that good. They can be that dangerous. Brent Key has won 9 of his 11 games as coach of the Yellow Jackets as underdogs. They'll be underdogs here, minor ones, but they pull off the upset and maybe in the process ruin NC State's chances of making the ACC championship game, because that will be their second conference loss. They then go on the road to North Carolina, who they've defeated 3 years in a row. They've won 3 straight over their NC State rivals, or in-state rivals, including a 39-20 win last year as an underdog, as a 2.5-point underdog to the Tar Heels. North Carolina is solid. They're not going to fall off because of the loss of Drake May, but they're not going to have enough to beat NC State. Angry after the loss to Georgia Tech. Some would say maybe hungover. There's still a lot to play for. Depending on what the rest of the ACC is looking like, maybe there's still a chance they could slip into the conference championship game. So NC State, to me, is going to have more to play for in this spot than the Tar Heels. They've played extremely well. UNC's defense still not going to be up to the task of slowing down this offense. The Wolfpack get the win and finish the year at 9-3. Now, 9-3, that's not bad at all. They would have an opportunity for a 10-win season if they can win their bowl game. Maybe a 10-win season if they make the ACC championship. It just depends on how the rest of the standings play out. If they don't lose to Georgia Tech, there could be a wild mess at the top with Clemson and NC State and Florida State and guys like that. But the loss, though, I think is ultimately probably going to keep them out. It's still going to be viewed as a good season. I mean, you can't complain with 9 wins, but with the talent that NC State has, this might be viewed as a bit of a disappointment. The schedule isn't terrible, guys, but Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia Tech, and maybe even North Carolina, if you want to group them in there, those are the 4 biggest games on their schedule. Tennessee and Clemson, more so the biggest games on their schedule, and how the Wolfpack fare in those will ultimately determine the outcome of this entire season, whether it is viewed as successful or maybe another minor disappointment. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. NC State 9-3, another big year under Dave Doeren, but maybe not the year fans are hoping for. But as always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com. Check out those expert picks. Check out everything down there as you become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.